good with it? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I just wanted to drop in today, drop a little education, cause they ain't do this for y'all in school, so we're gonna do this on my channel. You feel me? But this nigga down. Well, how y'all feeling today? You feel me? We got through the day. That's all that matters. You feel me? Today's pain is just for tomorrow's strength. You feel me? That's what I learned and that's what I experienced. Whatever pain you went through today, you feel me? Just know you can use that strength for tomorrow. See wrestling. What is you on? But we blessed. Let me know how y'all feeling in the chat before we get this education. We back on this. You feel me? Important that we learn the basics of shit. Cause like we tend to like try to start stuff and not know the fundamental aspects of things. So then when we build, our shit falls apart because we didn't know the fundamentals of it. You feel me? So it's important to learn the basics. People tend to like skip the basics, cause it's like intuitive for us to skip the basics and get straight to the point. But it's not always logical to go straight to the point because that point ain't gonna be the point that you want to get to just because you skipped the basics. So it's important that we understand economics and how our economy runs and how money runs and how inflation affects us and how the interest rates affect us and our day-to-day life, how it affects us through economics. You feel me? If you've been paying attention to my life, we know that economics is the study of scarce resources, and scarcity is things that for example, scarcity would be say if a pair of Jordans come out, say if it's 50 pairs and then it's 100 people waiting in line. That's scarcity because it's more people than a product, so that's scarcity. So when you go to school tomorrow, you could tell your teacher that you know what economics is and now you know what scarcity is. We talked about price control too as well, but that didn't really I have to reread that. You feel me? So, but I'm saying this to say, learn economics. That's just like if you go in your house and you don't know where your rooms are, that's like backwards. It's just the same thing with economics. We need to learn how the economy works because especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to learn the business cycle. You got to know when to sell and when not to sell. You got to know when to get more supply and when not to get more supply. You got to know when to raise more prices and when not to raise more prices. You have to know the basics of things as well as me. That's why I am on here breaking down this basic economic book so we can understand the basics and then once we got the basics, then we can build our foundation. You feel me? So furthermore, dude, I think that's how you say it. Economics. Basic economics. So last time we read this part, we was talking about uh real value, right? And I'm gonna reread that because we back on this book. So we're gonna talk about real value. Let me get my computer out so I can look up terms that I don't know. Hey, you on here trolling again? What time is it where you at? I told you, Shakur, we on here getting educated. We ain't on here trying to troll. Hey, Shakur, hey, make sure you tap into my vlogs though. I'm about to start doing my daily vlogs again. I'm geek for that. I ain't gonna lie. This is my everything channel, you feel me? I'm posting everything on this channel. This do rag is so tight on my head right now. I got this do rag at Kroger's, and this shit is so tight right now. Like it's tight, like around here. It's because of these. But I hope y'all doing good though. You know, we made it through the day. That's the best thing that can ever happen is make it through the day to see another day. And that just goes to show how strong we are as individuals because we made it through the day. And we all think that we weak in the knees and shit, but like we never weak. You feel me? Because we made it through the day. That's good. Like you gotta give yourself props. We don't never try to give ourselves props. We think we wasted a whole day, but in reality, we made it through the day. Hold up, but we about to get into it real quick. I want to see something. Oh shit. All right, let's get into it. Make sure y'all listen. We got two ears and one mouth for a reason. You feel me? We tend to think we know things, right? So make sure that you listen and understand what's happening. You know, economics might be boring, but you gotta understand. You gotta know the basic of shit. Basic shit is boring, but it's imperative that we know it. If we don't know the basic shit, then you're not gonna be able to build nothing ground up. So this is why I read. It's not one reason why I read, but like it's a part of why I read. Why I read, so I can understand things. So we talking about real value, right? So let me get my pen out. We talking about real value. So like when you hear real value, you think you like when you hear value, you think of like the value of money, right? When you hear value, that's what you think of as money. Cars, clothes, you know, the value of things. So now we're gonna understand real value, right? Because we was taught that money is valuable, right? But we have to unlearn things so we can know new things. We can't know the things that we grew up taught. We can't, let me backtrack that. We can't learn new things without unlearning new things, unlearning things. That makes sense. See, we so caught up in thinking we know everything that we don't want to unlearn the old ways of thinking because we think the old ways of thinking got us where we are. But, you know, you got to change the way you think to get to where you want to go. You know, it all start up here in your mind. You feel me? I ain't no preacher or nothing, but, you know, this is just through experiences. You feel me? And the way to And if you, the way to better your mindset, right? You gotta wanna better your mindset. That's just like if you and your friends, you feel me, in a room, y'all playing 2K and your mom at work, y'all cussing up a storm and all that thing in type of manner, right? Y'all cussing, y'all saying this and this and this. But as soon as your mom walk in the door, you change your mind quickly to a different, persona, right? Because you had that desire to do that because your mom stepped in the room, right? So that's you can use that same scenario when you want to think positively. Just think. You in your room and you listen to your thoughts, but just imagine that your mom come in your room and you switch your thoughts to positive. It's the same thing. You feel me? Because the reason people don't want to change is because they don't have the desire to change. That's why they won't change. They can say they want to change, but saying and doing is two different things. We all know that. You feel me? We all know that we could say we want to do this, but that don't mean you have the desire to do it just because you say. right? It's a difference between saying and doing. If you do it, that means you have a desire to do it. You feel me? So you gotta change how you think in every facet of life. How you think of things, people, all that. Like you gotta change your perspective. We walk around with like one perspective, you know, and we gotta change that. But there's plenty of ways to do that. And soon enough, when my audience grows, you know, around like 500, I will be creating a Discord where we do reading sessions. You feel me? I will order our books, you know, and we would probably read a chapter or two a day and break it down to where we can execute off of what we just learned, whether that be in these investing books, these mindset books, these law books, these economic books, these habit books, these personal development, any type of book that we're gonna read in my community. You feel me? We're gonna break it down and we're gonna grasp and understand what the book is trying to tell us and how we can apply it to our life. Because we see a lot of people saying this and this and this, but they won't give us the formula on how to use it. You feel me? It's all about using what we know. Because if you know everything, right, that means you should have everything. But we don't know nothing, right? And I don't want to, confuse y'all with that, what I just said. Like, it's no such thing as knowing everything because the world is so big, we don't know nothing. You feel me? So that's why learning is like an everyday process. Y'all know, like, how we get on social media and scroll, like, that's an everyday process for us. We have to switch that around and learn. You feel me? Because learning is key. It expands your wisdom, and if you don't learn, it won't expand your wisdom. And I think that we need wisdom, and we need understanding, and we need clarity, so we can move forward. It's kind of hard to walk forward when you don't know where to go or where to look, but that's why you got to keep walking to experience. Because as you experience that walk that you walking on, you get to understand and you get to learn and you get to gain wisdom and insight on what is happening and how it affected you through that walk. You feel me? See, I feel like we don't want to walk. So since we don't want to walk, the result is we don't get experience, understanding, all the type of things that we need in life. You feel me? And procrastinating on like where should I start? Where should I go? What should I look at? It's a lot of those things that add up to where it's stopping us from going. It's like a brick wall in front of us, and we only think that we gotta walk through the brick wall, but you can walk around the brick wall. But you gotta understand, since you started to walk around that brick wall, you might learn now that okay, I gotta do this now because I've learned this because just because I walk around the brick wall, opposed to if you try to walk through the brick wall, nothing will happen because it's a brick wall, right? But if you walk around it, even though you didn't start from the beginning, you still started to walk around it and gain whatever you had to gain to where you can now start to where it's understanding. If that makes sense. Y'all trying see where I'm trying to get there. Like see where I'm trying to go. Like basically start. Even if you can't start from the beginning, you can start backwards. You feel me? And then as you go, you know, the basics is gonna come. Now you can start from the basics and still get and still use what you learned when you started to walk around it. That makes sense. So since the basics is gonna come to you, you can use the basics now and what you've already experienced to increase the speed. If that makes sense, like y'all see where I'm trying to go there. That was just a visual in my head that just popped up. Because we tend to look at this brick wall and just like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. You feel me? We all say this. But if you just step back and walk around it, even though that's not the start of, even though that's not the beginning of the journey, not the journey, even though if that's not the beginning of the endeavor that you're going to, at least you started it. At least you walked around it and try to figure out where to go instead of just looking there, you know, mesmerizing and trying to say, where do I start? I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start, but I started. And I know one thing for sure is that since I started, things came along to help me. So that's why I'm moving at a faster speed than I never would have imagined that I would have. You feel me? So enough of that. We about to talk about real value, right? Because we think we know what real value is. We put value behind things, but let's get into this. So it says real value. It say the producer whose product turns out to have the combination of features that are closest to what the consumers really want may be no wiser than his competitors. It say yet he can grow rich while his competitor who guessed wrong go bankrupt. It say but the larger result is that society as a whole gets more benefits from its limited resources by having them directed towards where those resources produce the kind of output that millions of people want. So that's like, if you think about it, what they just said, that's like, if you say you picture yourself in your neighborhood, right? And across the street is where the products that you also desire is being made. So it's saying, right? But the larger result is that society as a whole gets more benefit from its limited resources by having them directed towards where those resources produce, right? So since you're in a neighborhood, right, and your house is across the street, and the person that's producing the product that you also like is across the street from you, right? You get a more benefit you get more benefit from that because you're directed towards where those resources are produced, right? So that's beneficial to you. And it says by the larger result is that society as a whole gets more benefits from its limited resources by having them directed towards where those resources produce the kind of output that millions of people want instead of producing things they don't want. So if that house across the street produce things that you don't want, then you won't be directed towards that house because obviously it's producing things that you don't want. But if the house across the street produce things that you want and you're being directed to it and it's limited, you are benefiting from that. Feel me? So it says, as simple as this all may seem, it contradicts many widely held ideas. It says, for example, not only are high prices often blamed on greed, people often speak of something being sold for more than its real value. I know y'all hear that in the world we live in is, oh, that you sold that for more than it's worth. You feel me? Oh, you sold that for more than that's worth. You feel me? So it's saying, as simple simple as all this may seem, it contradicts many widely held ideas. It say, for example, not only are high prices often blamed on greed, people often speak of something being sold for more than its real value, or of workers being paid less than they are really worth. So we've heard that in the world we live in. Oh, you're getting paid less than what you're worth. You feel me? I feel like, when I used to work, I was getting paid less than what I was worth. We all hear that. It says, or of corporate executives, athletes, entertainers being paid more than they are really worth. Listen to this. Listen to what this says. It say the fact that prices fluctuate over time and occasionally have a sharp rise or a steep drop misleads some people into concluding that prices are deviating from their real value. So what he's saying is people are being misled because they see price go up and go down, right? And they think that it's deviating from their real value. Deviating means from going against it, right? That's what deviating means. So it says the fact that prices fluctuate over time and occasionally have a sharp rise or a steep drop misleads some people into concluding that prices are deviating from their real values. It say, but their usual level under usual conditions is no more real or valid than their much higher or much lower levels under different conditions, right? Just because prices fluctuate up, and you see how gas prices go up, food prices go up, milk prices go up, clothes prices go up, all these things go up in value or go down in value. But it's saying people are being misled because they think prices are deviating from their real value, right? Um, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, when y'all on here, make sure y'all tapping the thumbs up, letting the algorithm know. I see people keep coming in and out. You know, this channel is definitely for people that wants to get educated, and to learn. This is not for people to you know, do as they please. This is not that type of channel. You feel me? As y'all can see, we learn and we read and we execute and we stick to the script. Yeah, we got a I say yeah. Yeah, I got a Snapchat. Drop your Snapchat and I'm gonna add you on there. So now we know that just because prices fluctuate, doesn't mean it's deviating from their prices. It say, listen to this right here. This is a great story. This is a good analogy to use when looking at things. That's it with three S's. All right, listen to this. It says when a large employer goes bankrupt in a small community, and this is another thing. This is why I read so much because I know that one day, um, I'm going to encounter somebody, and I'm going to be so prepared. It's no such thing as being so prepared, but I'm gonna be um I'm gonna be beneficial to their eyes because of the information that I know, right? And I read because it helps me um as a person. You feel me? It helps my vocab. It helps me in a lot of ways that I have not identified yet. You feel me? Like I said, I haven't identified what it really helps me, but I know that reading, it does something to my mind to where it helps me. You feel me? But I have not understood what it does that really helps me. But one thing that I became aware of is my vocab expanded because of the words that are in these books. That's why I'm able to say different words now, because I was never able to say different words or understand different words. You feel me? So that's why I love reading. And I know what I want in life. People don't people feel out of place in life, and people become depressed in life and stressed in life and worry in life because they don't know what they want. They think they know what they want. You can't think, oh, I think I want this. You gotta know, oh, I know I want this. There's a difference. So people gotta know what they want in life, because once you know what you want in life, you're gonna begin to start walking. You're gonna begin to start going towards what you want. You feel me? And I've learned that now that I know what I want, at least for this time being, for the next 5 years, I know what I want, and I'm not stopping until I see the things that I desire. You feel me? And that's why I wake up every day happy and healthy and wealthy, because I know that I know where I want to go. You feel me? And I'm not stopping until I get there. And that's why I'm continuing my knowledge, because I know every day I can become better than I was yesterday, 100-fold. You feel me? I know I can become better each and every day, because I know that I am the observer of my life and not the absorber. Meaning, since I'm observing, I know what to do and what not to do, what to fix and what not to fix. Not saying that I'm broken down, but the change, I'm not necessarily fixing, I'm changing habits. Nothing's wrong with me. You feel me? I'm perfect as I came. But the only thing that I'm working on every day and determined to fix every day and to focus on every day is my habits, because my habits is what leads me. It what makes my decisions with my visions, because you got to understand, if you got a vision, your vision, your decisions got to match your vision. So if your vision is to be a millionaire, right, to be wealthy, your decision you making to go to that club don't match that vision. So why are you going to the club? You feel me? If your vision is to be highly successful, your decision going to the club don't match that vision, then it's like it don't match. So your decision gotta match your vision. And that's why I really do things that don't match my vision. I'm not gonna say really, like it's sometimes that I think, oh, I need to stop working. I don't need to stop working. I need to tell myself I don't need to stop working. There's no such thing as balance with me right now. I'm determined to grow every day, and I'm determined to this vision. And even though I can't articulate the vision right now, doesn't mean that I should stop and wait to articulate it. You feel me? I'm going to keep going because I know it's all going to add up and it's all going to fall in line with each other. You feel me? So that's why I'm not stopping. I can't. Ain't no, it's not balanced with me right now. You feel me? It's you either keep going or you keep going. That's the only thing. You feel me? And even if you don't know what you want to do in life, you got to continue to walk. Because once you walk, you experience. And once you experience, you know what you want. But people don't know what they want because they're not walking. They're not trying to figure out what to do. They're not trying to figure out what to learn. They're not trying to figure out what to see. They're not trying to figure out who to talk to. Put yourself out there. Throw yourself in the water. Throw yourself in the 12 feet so you can experience it and know what you want and what you don't want. Once you know what you want, you you unstoppable. Cause I'm unstoppable, and I know that. Like I know that because I know what I want. People might want $1 million, but in reality, people might want to spend $1 million. I don't want to spend $1 million. I want to own $1 million in assets. There's a difference. I don't want to spend $1 million. You feel me? So you gotta know what you want. And the only way you're gonna know what you want, if you either experience it, if you learn about it, not even learn about it because you don't know what you want, but just to read anything and say, oh, I like the sound of this. You feel me? Because I grew up, more so trying to survive because of the environment we grew up in, and we didn't experience sports, we experienced struggle. I wouldn't say struggle because it's a testimony for us. So it's not really a struggle because if it's a testimony, then you feel me, it's not a struggle. But I grew up in an environment where I didn't do things that normal kids did. So I always felt lost because I didn't know what I really wanted out of life. And I'm like, I can't let that help hold me back because I looked at it now like, okay, since I didn't do shit as a kid, now as I'm growing older, why don't I try anything and I can figure out which one I actually like? Because some people can look at it through an eye of a negative way. Oh, I didn't do nothing as a kid. You know, um, life is over. They can say all the negative things that happened in the past that caused them that. But me, I switched my mindset and said, okay, since I didn't have nothing as a kid, not necessarily have nothing, but since I didn't experience nothing as a kid, as far as like sports, just, things that adults do now because they did it as a kid. I didn't have that. So I looked at it as like, okay, I didn't do this as a kid. I didn't do this. I didn't know, the things that I didn't do. So now I can try it. And if I don't like it, I can move on. I'm not going to limit myself to what I can do because I can do everything. You feel me? So that was just a quick story. I'm sorry. We talking about prices. So listen to this. It's so we talking about real value. I mean, not prices. Talking about real value. Just because prices fluctuate doesn't mean they're deviating from their real values, right? It says when a large employer goes bankrupt in a small city or simply moves away to another region or country, Many of the businesses, many of the business former employees may decide to move away themselves from a place that now has fewer jobs. And when their uh, when their numerous homes go on sale in the same small area at the same time as a job, right? It says the prices of those houses are likely to be driven down by competition. So, this is what the story is saying so far. So since that large business, right, it went bankrupt in that small community, right? So since that company went bankrupt, other people decided to simply move away, right? Because now that company that they used to work for went bankrupt. So now they moved away. So now it says the prices of those houses are likely to be driven down by competition. It say, but this does not mean that people are selling their homes for less than their real value. Because think about it. If if the business kept the community high, right, because of so many homes by that job that was created, because that job created them homes, because if that large corporation created them homes for the people that worked at that business, of course it's going to be up in value because so many people work at the job and so many people need somewhere to live. But it says that employer went bankrupt in that community, right? So just think of the company going bankrupt in that community. So it says, but this does not mean that people are selling their homes less than their value, right? It says the value of living in that particular community has simply declined with their decline of job opportunities, and the housing prices reflect an underlying fact. So basically, what it's saying, just because, no, how can I explain this? It's saying, since that employer went bankrupt, right, in that community that held all the employees, since that company went bankrupt, people moved out of that community or sold their house because the job is no longer there. And it's saying they didn't sell their house less than real value because that whole community went down in value. So they're really not losing at the end of the day. You feel me? Because that employer held that community high because of the employees working. So the community went down in value, right? Because the employer went bankrupt. And it's basically saying the value of living in that particular community has simply declined with the decline of the job opportunities, and housing prices reflect the underlying fact. What does he mean? Housing prices reflect the underlying fact, right? Because the job brought the opportunities to the community, right? So it says the most fundamental reason why there is no such thing as an objective or real value is that though there would be no rational basis for economic transactions if there were, right? I'm gonna reread that again. This bonnet is tight as hell, bro. I said bonnet. Matter of fact, I'm about to put my bonnet on. It's bonnet time, y'all. Got the bonnet on, y'all. I feel good. Right? Let's get back to it. It say the most fundamental reason why there is no such thing as an objective or real value is that there would be no rational basis for economic transactions if there were. It says when you pay a dollar, right, for a newspaper, obviously the only reason you do so is that the newspaper is more valuable to you than the dollar is, right? Listen to that. Listen to what he just said. I'll sing to your mother. Hey, sing to her. Sing to me. Black alien. I'm crying. Black alien. That's crazy. You can't like P Diddy's party. Why do y'all be trolling on here? I be trying to read. Not black alien. Hey, that's a funny name. Good. Don't get attention. I'm weak. I'm weak as hell. But look, it say when you pay a dollar, right, for a newspaper, obviously the only reason you do so is that the newspaper is more valuable to you than a dollar is. So that's like say you got $50, right? And a sweater costs $50. Obviously that sweater is more valuable to you than the $50 is because you wouldn't have paid $50 for that sweater if it wasn't valuable, right? That's what he's basically saying. He said when you pay a dollar for a newspaper, obviously the only reason you do so is that the newspaper is more valuable to you than the dollar is. It's the same thing. People be trolling so bad and be so down bad. How you down bad and trolling? Like that's the worst symptoms. You feel me? Like that's worse than the flu. Right? It said at the same time, the only reason people are willing to sell the newspaper is that a dollar is more valuable to them than the newspaper is. Y'all not hear what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying. Oh my God. So picture this and say this is a dollar. We're gonna go to class today, boy. Hold up. Right? This is $10. This is the product. So obviously, right? How can I do this? Say Say I'm walking around saying I got water bottles for sale. I got water bottles for sale. You feel me? I'm walking around selling water bottles, and another part of me got $10. So obviously I'm the seller. So obviously the $10 that I'm holding is more valuable than this water bottle. That's why I am willing to sell this water bottle for that $10. But another part of me got the $10 and the water bottle is more valuable to me than this $10. So now what I'm gonna do is exchange this $10 for this valuable water. But now I'm gonna come back to the seller. This water is less valuable to me than the $10 because the $10 is more valuable than this water. That's why I'm willing to sell this water for $10 because the $10 is more valuable to me than this water is. Same thing. Consideration. You feel me? That's all it is. So it's saying when you pay a dollar, when you pay $10 for a bottle of water, obviously the only reason you do so is that the bottle of water is more valuable to you than the $10 is. I just put it in my word. It said at the same time, the only reason people are willing to sell the water bottle is that $10 is more valuable to them than a water bottle. But in his words, it's newspapers. It say if there were any such thing as real or objective value of a newspaper or anything else, neither the buyer nor the seller would benefit from making a transaction at a price equal to that objective value. Listen to what it said. It say, if there were any such real thing as a real or objective value of newspaper or anything else, neither the buyer nor seller would benefit from making a transaction at a price equal to that objective value, since what would be acquired would be of no greater value than what was given up. Listen to what he said. He said neither the buyer nor the seller would benefit, right, from making a transaction at a price equal to that objective value, since what would be acquired would be of no greater value than what was given up. You feel me? So, in that case, why bother to make the transaction in the first place? So basically, both things that are being given up have to be valuable. Because if neither was valuable, then neither would benefit. It says, on the other hand, if neither the buyer or the seller was getting more than the objective value from the transaction, then the other person must be getting less. In which case, why would the other party continue making such transactions while being continually cheated? Continuing transactions between buyer and seller make sense only if the value is subjective, each getting what is worth more subjectively. Economic transactions are not a zero-sum process where one person loses whatever the other person gains. So he's saying economic transactions is not a zero-sum game, right? It's not, because somebody, well, both parties have to gain from it. Because if it was a zero-sum game, then neither parties wouldn't gain, right? Competition. It says competition is a critical factor in explaining why prices usually cannot be maintained at arbitrarily set levels. Uh, I had this word in my book, irrational. That's what it means. I told y'all, if y'all don't know a word, just write it in the back of y'all books. So it means irrational, arbitrarily. It says competition is a critical factor in explaining why prices usually cannot be maintained at irrational levels. So prices cannot be maintained at irrational levels, right? Competition is the key to the operation of a price coordinated economy. So competition is key. It not only forces prices towards equality, it likewise causes capital, labor, and other resources to flow where their most rates of return are highest. So listen to what it says. It says it not only forces prices towards equality, it likewise causes capital, labor, and other resources to flow towards where the rates of return are highest. So that's like, just imagine, say you in the neighborhood, right? And you in this house and your neighbor is in this house, right? And y'all know y'all are both selling something, but it says if your house, right, your capital, labor, and resources that you have in your house are going to flow to you more because you are bringing the highest rate of return opposed to your neighbor. You know, the capital, the labor and the resource won't go to his house because he's not bringing the highest rate of return. So what that means for you is all the labor, all the capital, and all the resources is going to your house because that is where the rate of returns are the highest. That's what he's saying. He say it not only forces prices towards equality, it likewise causes capital, labor, and other resources to flow towards where their rates of return are highest. It says that is where the unsatisfied demand is greatest until the returns are even out through competition, much like water seeking its own level. However, the fact that water seeks its own level does not mean that the ocean has a glassy, smooth surface. It say waves and tides are among the ways in which water seeks its own level without being frozen indefinitely at a given level. Similar in an economy, it says the fact that prices and rates of return when investments tend to equalize means only that their fluctuation relative to one another are what moves resources from places where their earnings are lower to where their earnings are higher. And say that is from where the quantity supply is greatest relative to the quality demanded. It say to where there is the most unsatisfied demand. It does not mean that prices remain the same over time or that some ideal pattern of allocation of resources remains the same indefinitely, right? So what we took away from this right here, this competition is key because we competition is key in our economy because we are a price coordinated economy, right? If I'm reading that right, we're gonna make sure. So yeah, um, we control prices, not them. We control prices, right? Oh, gotta- all right, so now we're talking about prices and supplies. So it says prices and supplies, right? We're talking about prices and supplies, right? So it say prices not only ration existing supplies. What does that mean? Rationing is the limit. All right. It says prices not only ration existing supplies. So that means what? All right. So that's the I had to underline. I had to know what that meant. All right. It says prices not only ration existing supplies, meaning limit of goods or service. They also act as a they also act as powerful incentives to cause supplies to rise or fall in response to changing demand. It says when a crop failure in a given region creates a sudden increase in demand for imports of food into that region, food suppliers elsewhere rush to be the first to get there in order to capitalize on the high prices that will prevail until more supplies arrive and drive food prices back down again through competition. It say what this means from the standpoint of the hungry people in that region is that food is being rushed to them at maximum speed by greedy suppliers, probably much faster than if the same food were being transported to them by salaried government employees sent on a humanitarian mission, right? It say those spurred on by a desire to earn top dollar for the food they sell may well drive throughout the night or take shortcuts over rough terrain, while those operating in the public interest are more likely to proceed at a less hectic pace and by safer or more comfortable routes. It say, in short, people tend to do more for their own benefit than for the benefit of others. Freely fluctuating prices can make that turn out to be beneficial to others. It say, in the case of food supplies, early arrival can be the difference between temporary hunger and death by starvation or by diseases to which people are more susceptible when they are undernourished. Right? So it's basically saying what I just read is that um see that's the thing, like when I be reading, like my mind be trying to get tired on me. Like it be like this shit is so boring. But then I gotta force my mind to, read. So then it's not gonna be boring no more. But let's get to it. So basically it said I'm gonna reread it again. It say in short, people tend to do more for their own benefit than for others, right? Freely fluctuating prices can make that turn out to be beneficial to others. So they're basically saying since prices fluctuate, it can be beneficial to others because people do things for their own benefit, right? It says in the case of food supplies, right? Early arrival can be the difference. Early arrival can be the difference, right? Between temporary hunger and death by starvation, or by diseases to which people are more susceptible when they are undernourished. It say, where there are local famines in third world countries, it is not at all uncommon for food supply by international agencies to the national government to sit there spoiling on the docks while people are dying of hunger inland. However, unattractive greed may be okay. It is likely to move food much faster, saving more lives. In other situations, the consumer may not want more, but less. Prices also convey this. I'm gonna read it. It said the consumer may not want more, but less. Prices also convey this. Meaning prices always, meaning price, it say the consumer may not want more, right, but less. Prices also convey this, meaning prices also understand, carry this, that consumers may not want more but less, right? It say when automobiles began to displace horses and buggies in the early 20th century, the demand for saddles, horseshoes, carriages, and other such paraphernalia declined, right? Because they all declined because of automobiles, right? It say as the manufacturers of such products face losses instead of profits, many began to abandon the businesses or were forced to shut down by bankruptcy. It say in a sense, it is unfair when some people are unable to earn as much as others with similar levels of skills and diligence. It said because of innovation, which were as unforeseen by most of the producers who benefit as by most of the producers who were made worse off, right? He's saying it's unfair because the same people with the level of skills and the same people with the level of diligence, right? It was unfair because some made more, some made less, right? It's a yet this unfairness to particular individuals and businesses is what makes the economy as a whole operate more efficiently. So my question is, how does that make the economy operate more efficiently? Because of this unfairness, and I feel like I just got the answer came to me. I think it's because of the new products that are being produced in the economy. But we're gonna read. I'm gonna reread that too. It said, yet this unfairness to particular individuals and businesses is what makes the economy as a whole operate. So you telling me y'all need these individuals in these businesses to cause unfairness because that is what makes the economy operate as a whole and more efficiently. That's crazy. It say yet this unfairness to particular individuals and businesses is what makes the economy as a whole operate more efficiently for the benefit of vastly larger numbers of others. It said would creating more fairness among producers at the cost of reduced efficiency and a resulting lower standard of living be fair to consumers. It say the gains and losses are not isolated or independent events. The critical role of prices is in tying together a vast network of economic activities among people to widely scattered to all known each other. It say, however, much we may think of ourselves as independent individuals, right? We may think of ourselves as independent of we may think of ourselves as independent individuals, right? We are all dependent on other people for our very lives, as well as being dependent on innumerable strangers who produce the amenities of life. Few of us could grow the food we need to live, much less build a place to live in or produce such things as computers or automobiles. Other people have to be induced to create all these things for us, and economic incentives are critical for that purpose. As Will Rogers once said, we couldn't live a day without depending on everybody. Prices make that dependency viable by linking their interests with ours. Prices make that dependence viable by linking their interests with ours. All right, y'all, I'm finished with that chapter, and that's it for today for me. I'm gonna close that out for y'all because we just learned some things about our economy, right? And that's good because my key thing is to learn something every day, no matter what. Because each time you learn, each time you grow, and that's important. You feel me? As long as you learning, you growing. That's my whole thing. Is like we gotta continue, no matter what. Just because this brick wall in front of me don't mean I can't walk around it. You feel me? I ain't about to keep asking, where do I start? I don't know where to go. I don't know where to look. I'm gonna walk around and see what's behind that brick wall. Even though I can't walk through it, I'm gonna walk on the side of it. Walk, you feel me? You might find a shortcut, but I started. And you should start too. You feel me? Just start. That's all you gotta do, and everything gonna come along. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the next live. I'm gonna leave y'all as I came in education. You feel me? Keep on.